Welcome, ladies and gents. Chris Andre here. You can find me at BetBoxing on Twitter for boxing related tweets, or you can subscribe to the channel and click that notifications button and get new notifications whenever a new video is uploaded. A couple of you liked this black and white format from the other day, so I thought I'd give it a shot. Let's see if we can give this channel a unique look, so to speak. You know, a bit like one of you mentioned Mike Tyson's hot boxing, that it used to be in black and white, and that, you know, you like the look of that. So let's just try it for a while. Let me know what you think. It's now 6:17 a.m. and believe me, I'm so tired. I'd love to go to bed right now. But after that fight, I haven't got a choice but to bring a little post-fight breakdown video to talk about Estrada and Chocolatito. Personally, I had the fight a draw. I'm fine with 115, 113 either way. I thought 117, 111 was wide. One of the judges' scorecards I thought was way too wide. Having said that, I did think there were maybe 4 swing rounds. 2 that I gave to Estrada, 2 that I gave to Roman Gonzalez. Even then, if I give them all to Estrada, I can only come to 116, 112. So 117, 111 is too wide for me, but I'm fine with the fight going either way. I'm not one of these people calling this a robbery. A lot of people are going mad on Twitter at the moment. They feel that Gonzalez won the fight. What I will say is this. Michael Montero put out a video post-fight, an immediate reaction. He got the CompuBox, and it was something like 35, 36 jabs landed by Roman Gonzalez, and it was just 7 jabs landed by Estrada, according to CompuBox. Now, we all know just how inaccurate CompuBox can be, but it can give you a good rough guide. It's a nice tool to have. What this is ultimately telling you in a fight of over 2,000 punches, combined punches, so they both threw over 1,000 punches, it wasn't a jab type fight. It was a power punching fight. And when you have fights that are predominantly power punching fights, often it's not just about volume or the percentage of who's landing. It's about who's affecting the other guy more often. So let me rephrase. It's not about who's affecting the other guy more often. I mean, it's about who's affecting the guy more, often. So whoever's more often affecting the other guy. Listen, man, it's 6:20 a.m. What do you want from me? I'm falling asleep over here. The point is, it becomes less obvious, I guess you could say, unless guys are really getting hurt. So if they're not really getting hurt and they're power punches, you might think, oh, Gonzalez landed 7 punches in that round. Estrada landed 10 punches, but Gonzalez's punches were heavier. They rocked his head back, so I'm going to go with Gonzalez. It becomes a little bit more, subjective, so to speak. Let's talk quickly about Roman Gonzalez. When it comes to his style, it's a very, very offensive style. So we're going to talk about his strengths and his weaknesses. The author of The Art of War, Sun Tzu, once said, one of his famous quotes, "Attack is the secret of defense. Defense is the planning of an attack." And this summarizes the mindset of Roman Gonzalez. His defense is about setting up an attack. And because of that, his offense can be overwhelming. It is some of the things he does, both guys, man. The high level boxing that we saw tonight was incredible. It was very high level stuff. Constant jostling for position, thinking, trying to create new angles with some minor shifts. It was superb. But let's talk about Roman Gonzalez for a second, because it's quite easy to wax lyrical about what he does. Let's try and understand, though, what he does. One of the things he does, I've spoken about this before, how a great thing to do is line up your lead shoulder with the opponent's face. That way, a straight line is the easiest method from A to B, the fastest method, rather than having to come across where you're going to have further travel. When you're coming down the pipe and it's in line with the pipe, with your chin, it's bang in line with your chin, that it travels a shorter distance. He will shift his body in ways where any shot that he throws, he'll try and get it in line with your face. Not consistently, but he'll create a short angle. And because he's got quite a high guard, he'll shoot from that high guard. And what he does, he has his feet not too wide apart to affect his movement. He can still move. But despite having a fairly narrow stance, which enables quick movement, he's also shifting his weight slightly onto his lead foot, and he leans forward. And by leaning forward off of that lead foot, by getting up close and leaning forward, he's constantly in a position where he's ready to throw punches in the way that he moves. It's about his movement, okay? So he'll have his head down, he's in front of you, there's not much of a target there, and he's constantly looking to slip either side, little shifts, not big movements, small, tiny shifts. And with that shift, he'll throw a shot. So he'll often slip inside a jab, something you're told, when you're starting out in boxing not to do, because if you slip inside the jab, you can walk straight onto a power punch. He's not fazed by that. He'll slip inside the jab, and as that shot, so imagine you're throwing a shot down the pipe, he'll slip inside, right? And as he slipped inside, he'll throw a shot around the corner too. So the shot will come in and he moves there. The second shot will come in and he might roll under and shoot there. So every movement comes a shot. He might throw a little right hand to the body, a straight right hand to the body, or it might even be a little shovel hook to the body with his left hand, a shovel hook to the body followed by a right hand. But everything is from here. There's no load up. There's no rotation. The way he creates the leverage is to rotate off of the line. So if I'm here, okay, and I want to throw a straight shot, I'm already leant forward, if I just throw a straight shot there can be power there for sure. But for me to really load up, because if you're throwing big hooks with me, okay, you're throwing these big hooks with me, and I'm exchanging with you, and I'm making you miss by inches, I'm sliding under shots, I'm slipping either side of shots. For me to then land a big shot on you, and I know you're going to land something potentially on me, I need to generate power. It's not just about placing. But if I don't want to load up so that I can get there more quickly, I don't have to want to rotate and turn through because it will take me longer to do. I want to just throw it from there. I'm already shifted in that forward position. How do I generate that rotation, that leverage, that shift of weight when my weight's already on my front foot? Well, what he does, the autofocus on this camera is going a bit nuts, isn't it? Let me just turn it off and see if it makes a difference. So from this position, what he does, yeah, it does make a difference. So from this position here, if I want to rotate, rather than just throw a shot from there, he will rotate by dropping his body further closer to, so he's already shifted onto that lead foot. Let me kneel up. He's already shifted onto that lead foot. He'll further shift by dropping that body and shooting the shot through there. So the rotation, so to speak, the generation of power, that leverage comes from an extra shift forward. And then from there, again, he's looking to come under, and he might pull back. He'll throw a shot, and then after throwing the shot, he'll create more movement to get out of the center line. But the point is, as he's coming out of the center line, that defensive move of moving his head is how he creates that shift, and it's a counter shot. If he's leading off from there, he can then, often when he's already down from there, he then launches off of that lead foot. So he's springing on that lead foot. He's generating the power. Kind of like when you hear guys saying he's sitting on his shots, he's sitting on the spring of that lead foot instead of the back foot. And as he leads off of that shot, he shoots upwards. Okay, so he's brilliant at shifting weight in a manner that is defensively responsible to launch an attack. However, one of the things he doesn't do particularly well is that when he's not active offensively, he's actually defensively a little bit irresponsible. He's a bit of a sitting duck. In other words, he's done all this stuff. He's shot his punches. He now wants to escape, for argument's sake. Rather than get out again, what he'll often do is try and come around you and stay in the pocket. So it's constant foot pressure. Now that is very, very tiring for an opponent. He doesn't want to come out because he wants to put you under that sort of foot pressure. But unlike a guy like Lomachenko, who will come out and still feint with his feet and come in and out, and Tyson Fury is very good at this as well when he's on the front foot, using his feet and feints to foot pressure you and then come around you, Gonzalez stays in that pocket and wants to throw punches consistently to wear you down. Great. But when he's then not throwing, after he's done throwing, when he's not slipping shots to throw, those little movements that he's looking to do, he's not always defensively responsible with it. And bear in mind, because he's leaning forward, okay, and he's got quite a narrow stance. When he's leaning forward with that narrow stance, he's leaving space in behind. I can't get up enough. In behind the elbows. So he leaves space in there. Now you can catch him with shots there. And what you saw with Estrada is him loading up on some body shots. And that's when he had some really good success. Because one thing Estrada was very, very good at is being able to come inside and throw shots on the inside. And Gonzalez is brilliant from there too. Because one thing Gonzalez does, another brilliant thing he does, I'm waxing lyrical now about Gonzalez, but I'll just make this last point. He'll catch a shot and shoot from there as well. So what he'll often do with his hands, it's almost like a trigger, something I've spoken about with Dillian White before. You'll land a shot there, and that's his trigger to let the hand go. Because once that shot's there, he's thinking, right, he's not going to throw a double left hook. So as that shot goes, it lands there, bang, he'll shoot his own shot. And what he'll often do when he's up close, he'll just throw it a short hook. So from there, he'll have a high guard, you'll catch him on the side, and he's launching a little hook from there, bang. There's not much on it, but they're catching you on the flush, on the button, and your head's flipping around. Well, Estrada's also very good at hiding his chin behind the shoulder of the opponent. And then from there, as he's pulling out of that break, throwing a big shot himself. So they're both good on the inside in different ways. Gonzalez more physical. Estrada more physical, finding space in behind the elbows, which he was very, very good at doing with hooks to the body. But the other thing Gonzalez is very good at, he's a boxer puncher himself. And he was stepping out. When he was stepping back and getting back, he was countering Gonzalez. When Gonzalez, like I said, Gonzalez likes to lead off that front foot, back and forth. And although he doesn't often overcommit, as he moves forward, because he's sort of coming in and out like this, as he moves forward, Gonzalez would look to punish him on his way in. You're going to step in to launch a shot. I'll try and catch you with an uppercut as I'm stepping back. Catch you with a hook as I'm stepping back. Because Gonzalez is so high level, often these shots were missing from Estrada. Often they were landed on gloves. But by the same token, his movement was excellent. So often, Roman Gonzalez was also unable to land big power shots consistently without eating something in return because he would have to overcommit. So if I was Roman Gonzalez, or if I was his trainer, say, what I'd want him to work on is how to nullify an opponent more effectively, tie him up, get out, all the way out, cover up with certain shots so that when you're not throwing shots, you're a lot more defensively responsible. Because if he can marry his defensive, or rather offensive defense, which is what it is, it's an attacking form of defense, if he can marry that with stopping his opponent having success when he's not throwing punches, well, now you've got a very, very dangerous guy, an unbeatable guy. So I would have loved to have seen him, travel to the US, work with somebody like Virgil Hunter. I can imagine Virgil Hunter teaching him a couple of tricks of the trade that would help him improve in this area. Now, the other thing with Roman Gonzalez is that he's in his fourth weight category, obviously, and he's fighting against bigger guys. And his offensive form of fighting, where he's literally making people miss by an inch or so and then firing in return, and he's constantly staying in that pocket. The fact that he's able to have this level of success against anybody that's so much bigger than him is extraordinary. He is poetry in motion when he lets his hands go. People do not realize what we're talking about here. He is unbelievable in what he does. And he's in against bigger, stronger men. And he's fighting a style that is very offensive. I mean, to marry these things together, it's unbelievable. It really is. You've got to take your hat off to this guy. But this Sun Tzu notion of attack is the secret of defense. And defense is the planning of an attack. Yes, it's wonderful to see. But for me, and like I said, I don't think he lost the fight today. But for me, if he's going to dominate this division again, he has to adapt and stop taking on that Sun Tzu philosophy. He has to be able to take breaks in fights without eating so many shots. Now, one of the things we saw with Estrada as well, he was slipping inside Gonzalez at one point, slipping inside the lot and throwing a right hand just outside of the shoulder of Gonzalez that would be directly in line with his chin, with Estrada, directly in line with his chin. The jaw, rather, the side of the jaw, okay? So he's catching him right on the side of the face, coming over the shoulder. Now, it looked brilliant, and it was brilliant for large portions. In one of the middle rounds, can't remember which one it was one I actually gave to Gonzalez. In fact, let me just check and I'll tell you which round it was. It was round 9. What you saw is Estrada turn his shoulder off and start to throw a glove up, a right glove. And he caught a lot of right hands on the glove. He cut off that path. So he forced Roman to adjust. Now he wasn't, by doing that in a way, he was occupying that hand. And then obviously you're not going to throw the punch from there. So as he'd catch it, the hand becomes out of bounds. So you have to then reset to throw that same punch. You can throw this shot, and as you throw that shot, your hand can come down in preparation for the next one. But for that split second, this hand is a defensive tool alone. It's a shield. It's out of bounds when it's on this side of your face. It's not on this side where you're going to catch a shot and then throw from there. From here, with your back, with your palm facing the opponent, it's difficult to then throw something off of that. We've seen Andre Ward do it in the past. It can be done, but it's difficult. But Gonzalez outworked him in that round, and I gave that round to Gonzalez. But the point is that Estrada made adjustments in this fight. You could see that. They were both making great adjustments. And then Gonzalez noticed that that was happening. He made another adjustment. And one of the things I liked about Gonzalez is that in round 8, which I also gave to him, you saw that he was a bit more in and out. Rather than having that thing where he's constantly staying in the pocket, he actually fought a little bit more in and out. And it worked for him, I thought. I thought he had success in that round. I thought he was able to stay away from a lot of Estrada's work. He made Estrada chase him, but he was maintaining really good distance control. So you saw from both guys high level adjustments, high level of understanding of what the other guy was trying to do, and then nullifying what that guy was trying to do, and then the other one would make an adjustment again, and so on and so forth. Like I said, for me, great fight. One of the fights of the year. So far, it might be the best fight of the year. A draw for me. How did you score it? What do you think about what I'm saying about Roman Gonzalez? You know, the way he sets up his offense, and when he's not working offensively, do you agree that he needs to work a little bit on that defense in the way that I'm talking about? Or do you still believe, listen, this Sun Tzu, so to speak, philosophy of attack is the secret of defense, and defense is the planning of an attack? Do you believe that that's what's worked for Gonzalez his whole career? That's what's gotten him here. Let's continue to see that and more of it in the hope that he can rekindle who he once was and dominate this new division as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Chat to you soon. Take care. God bless.